live in high definition. This is Western New York's news leader. Now, News 4 at 11.
And News 4 is your election headquarters on primary night here in New York State. Good evening to you. Voters decided today who they want to be on the ballot this November in several key races.
And the top of the ticket featured the Democratic primary for governor. Actor and activist Cynthia Nixon challenged two-term incumbent Andrew Cuomo, but that race was called at 9:30 tonight, and there will be no upset. Governor Cuomo has earned the Democratic nomination once again. He held about a 2-to-1 margin over Nixon for most of the night. A disappointed but proud Cynthia Nixon thanked her supporters just a few minutes ago.
We refused to be quiet, and we made our voices heard. And while the result tonight was not what we hoped for, I am not discouraged, I am inspired, and I hope you are too.
And Governor Cuomo will face Republican Mark Molinaro and Green Party nominee Howie Hawkins in November.
Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul is in a much closer race against New York City Councilman Jumaane Williams. Hochul trailed early but came back with more votes when upstate New York was counted. Right now, she's up by just a few percentage points, as you can see. Julie Killian ran unopposed for the Republican nomination.
And the most competitive race of the night was expected to be the Democratic primary for Attorney General.
Barbara Underwood is the interim Attorney General, filling in for Eric Schneiderman. 4 Democrats were running to succeed her. Letitia James has been declared the winner. She easily defeated Zephyr Teachout, Sean Patrick Maloney, and Leisha Eve.
And there was also a 3-way race for the Reform Party nomination. Nancy Silwa led Mike Dieterich and Christopher Garvey in that race, and Keith Wolford of Buffalo will be the Republican nominee for Attorney General.
The biggest races of the night, of course, were on the Democratic side.
Erie County Democrats watched the results come in at their headquarters in Larkinville tonight. And News 4's Chris Hervadis is there. He's live for us tonight. Chris?
All attention right now on that lieutenant governor's race. Kathy Hochul facing Jumaane Williams. Williams came off to a strong start. Hochul overtook that lead about an hour or so ago, a little less, and has been increasing it since. It's been about a 50,000 vote lead. We do expect Hochul here shortly. But first, I want to talk to Jeremy Zellner, the chair of the Erie County's Democratic Committee. Jeremy, what do you make of that race? Williams coming out at the front end, and Hochul now with a 50,000 vote lead.
Well, Chris, I think you saw a lot of results coming out from down in New York City for a long time in the beginning of the race, and Kathy started to pull away as we came upstate later in the evening, and we're bringing it home for her here in Western New York as well with our resounding victory here in Erie County.
Polling showed from Siena expecting her to win this race handily. That didn't happen. Does that tell you anything?
Well, polling's never right. Here she is right now. We're really excited to have her here.
And that would be the sound of Kathy Hochul walking into Erie County Democratic headquarters here in Larkinville. Joe, you want to go ahead and get a shot of Kathy Hochul walking in? Her husband, Bill Hochul, the former U.S. attorney, walking in with her. We do expect Kathy to step up to the podium. Let's listen to what she has to say.
The Lieutenant Governor of the State of New York, Kathy Hochul.
To my friends, they said it couldn't be done. But you made it happen. Western New York, upstate New York, the entire state of New York, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. So many people put their faith in me. And I every day got up saying, I don't want to let the people of my community, my hometown, down. And I fought for you. And I fought alongside our governor. And you made this victory happen. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, Western New York, for putting me over the top. Thank you. And I want to congratulate Jumaane Williams, who's done an exceptional job as a councilman in Brooklyn. He ran a good race, and I look forward to continuing to work with him in the next administration. And to my incredible family, who've endured almost a quarter century of nights like this. And they're not real excited half the time, but they stand with me. My beloved husband of 34 years, Bill Hochul. My father of 60 years, Jack Courtney. My father is here as well. My children, Billy and Katie, Katie's husband, Matt, Billy's fiancee, Christina, my sister, Sheila, and my incredible campaign team, led by Jeff Lewis, Adam Sullivan, Melissa Bochensky, Joan Kester, who worked so hard here.
You are listening to Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul declare victory tonight. It was touch and go earlier, but as she said, it was upstate that put her over the top. So that's Democratic headquarters in Larkinville right now. Let's take a look at some other races tonight. State Senator Tim Kennedy challenged by Shakura Zachary in the 63rd District. Kennedy has a very comfortable lead, more than doubling her total.
And State Assemblyman Eric Bowen is trying to win his first full term tonight, a lifelong Democrat. Bowen broke from his party and is running as a Republican against Timothy Nolan. The updated numbers show that Bowen has more than a 20-point lead right now. Erie County Legislator Patrick Burke is running on the Democratic side.
Now, the big race in Erie County was for the Democratic line for a county judge between Sue Maxwell Barnes and Deborah Givens. And Barnes had the party endorsement here. Givens was endorsed by Mayor Byron Brown. But as you can see, it appears with 85% reporting that Sue Barnes has won the Democratic primary.
Now, voters across the Queen City had some trouble voting tonight. Erie County Republican Elections Commissioner Ralph Moore, he told us that several polling locations ran out of ballots, so they had to get reinforcements from the Board of Elections. Ralph Moore says the voters had to wait about 15 minutes for more ballots to arrive. Minor problem.
Well, it's been a pretty quiet night, but we are joined by former Erie County Democratic Party Chairman Len Lenehan and Canisius College professor and Erie County legislator Kevin Hardwick, a Republican. Gentlemen, let's just start. Any surprises for either one of you tonight?
Not really. I think Kathy Hochul's race was a little bit closer, but we're not surprised. Keep in mind, in a Democratic primary, 80% of the vote comes out of New York City metropolitan area. Kathy was the only upstater on the ticket, so she had to fight her way through New York City.
How about the race for Attorney General?
Yeah, well, you know, that was a bit surprising, and the surprise was that the Democrat endorsed, the Democrat-backed candidate actually won the Democratic nomination. Right. I agree with Len. It was a pretty boring night when it came right down to it. The Kathy Hochul race was the most exciting, and it was kind of nice to see Kathy there. You know, I mean, Len and I both know what it's like to win a squeaker, and winning is better than losing.
Oh, absolutely.
Every day of the week.
You can
Everybody
quote me
can
on
agree
that.
on that.
Just ask the Buffalo Bills.
Well, I didn't want to go there.
What about what you saw in the governor's race? You know, he won 2-1 tonight, but there was a lot of discussion in this race all the way through about the progressive side of the party and that kind of thing. Yeah,
that kind of didn't live up to its billing. In fact, the pollsters won on this one. The pollsters predicted it, and the big lead for the governor, and that's the way it turned out. Now, of course, the problem is getting Cynthia Nixon off the working families line. They have to do that because that's going to take votes away from her or away from Cuomo in the general election.
As it turned out, his opponent from 4 years ago, Zephyr Teachout, got the same vote that Cynthia Nixon got tonight. So Cuomo's got a good, solid support of two-thirds of the Democratic Party.
Cuomo took Nixon a lot more seriously than he did Teachout, however.
No doubt.
I mean, spent a lot more money on resources on this campaign.
But Teachout, you know, she might be around the political scene a lot longer. She did pretty well tonight, even though she didn't win for Attorney General, and she had a fantastic political campaign in terms of her ads and the message she had.
And she is focused on the corruption issue. She's written a book about it. You're going to see more about her.
All right.
Absolutely.
Very quickly, Chris Collins, will his name come off the November ballot? What do you think?
I still think it's very tough. I think it's hard to make a legitimate case that he's going to run for another office after he pulled out of the race for Congress because he needs the time to defend himself. How do you then decide to run for another office? So I think the Democrats are going to fight this one in court.
Well, he'll run it the same way Cynthia Nixon will when she'll get off the Working Families Party ballot. I think he probably will. I think he'll run for something in Clarence, and I'm not sure what that office will be.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, both. We appreciate your insight on this
Our pleasure.
quiet primary night. You can see the results from all of tonight's primary elections by downloading the News 4 app. It's a free download for any mobile device.
And still to come, the call for justice after yesterday's deadly shooting in Buffalo.
Plus, closing in, the last-minute warning to people in the Carolinas as the outer bands of Hurricane Florence reach land. Todd?
And that is exactly what I will be starting the next block coming up with. The latest on Florence, what we can expect tonight, and when we can expect some of the remnants to reach Western New York. Coming up here next, News 4 at 11.